Really excited about the players reporting. They get here on the day and then start practice tomorrow. And just the way they've been working the whole summer, Coach Moore has had unbelievable reports about just how the team is coming together. And anytime you look, you know that over summer, now that you have the freshmen that have come into play, that you're just looking to build a team. We know it's all about effort, it's all about consistency, and it's all about last season, 6 and 7. I've said it over and over again, will never be the standard here, and we just look to build on that. But the key questions going into camp is just leadership, who's going to become leaders, who's going to step out, and you want someone to just step out and just take over the team. And I talked to the team about this. I said, I have a bunch of guys, and we're all gathered together right now. So what I need is a guy to go take a step. And if you take a step, you're going to bring someone else with you. Then you take another step, and you'll bring someone else with you. But right now, don't be afraid to be that guy who's going to step out there and become someone, because at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with it. And that's what we're going to have in order for this team to continue to move forward. Offensively, we know that we're changing it up, so we're going into camp. We just got to make sure that we continue to work. And at each position, whether it be the quarterback, the offensive line, the running backs, wide receiver, on the defensive side of the ball, we know that you're looking for depth, you're looking for guys to create competition in each position. When you talk about the quarterback position, you look at Swoops, knowing he has to get better, improve, like for the way how you have her continue to push him, and now you get Loxley and throw him in the mix. At the running back position with Jay Gray, you still have Foreman who's pushing him, and you have Catalan. So you have some guys there now. The offensive line, like the way Doyle has just continued to improve and gotten better. Now you have Ced Flowers, Big Perk, Hutch outside, Connor Williams. So you feel like the offensive line-wise, you continue to develop with. Now you have Nicholson, some guys that you can alternate in there. And then at the wide receiver position, it's all about playmakers there. You're looking for a guy who can take a 5-yard hitch or a bubble and just go take it the distance. DeJay's someone that we've talked about enough in the program. Now it's time for him to step up and start. You want to see what happened with DeJay. You want to see him all of a sudden become a guy that we can count on, and we can count on each and every down. Marcus Johnson is another one. Doran Leonard played a lot last year. Lorenzo Joe, Petey's played a lot. Warwick has played a lot. So you're looking for those guys at that position, because what's really key when you talk about the spread, you got to have some guys that can win outside. And when you spread it out and you start throwing the ball around, you got to make sure that you got to put the ball in the playmaker's hand and let them take it and get down the field, make people miss. On the defensive side of the ball, you look at us up front. Getting Tank back was really big for us, and it's good to get Big Tank back. Now you have Ridgeway, you have Boyette, you have a lot of guys that have played inside for us. And then outside with Shiro, you're looking at Shiro, then you go to the other side with Nashon, 2 guys that have played a lot also last season, and then Cottrell. So you got some guys there. With the defensive front, you have a bunch of bodies now, so guys that you can alternate in, making sure you can keep them fresh. The linebacker position is going to be a major question mark for us, because what we lost last year with Edmond and Hicks, you got to look at Santos, you look at Jenkins, you look at Cole, 3 guys that are vets for us, but now you got to find those young guys. When you talk about Malik, he's a guy that was here. He got in January and was able to go through the off season and then go through spring and then also get into the summer conditioning. But Malik is going to be key for us there. The secondary, you look at Duke, has been a staple there at the corner position. Look what Dylan did last year. Then look at Jay Hall, but you still got to find that other corner at the other position. So it's all about depth. It's all about us getting better, and it's about working each and every day. And it's what's really great is going into year 2 for the coaching staff. Now you feel like that you have a sense of who these players are. And I know that once you come into a program, it's all about trust. Now the trust is continuing to build at each position with each position coach, and that's what you want to see happen. So really excited about it, ready to get going. It just feels like, that's, last season's behind us now. Let's push on, let's move on, and let's go get better and improve this season.
Coach Strong, what's different for you now than it was a year ago as a head coach at the University of Texas preparing for season number 2?
Well, you know what happens, China, and it's partially my fault. A lot of times when you walk into a program, and there's been tradition established, and there's passion in the program, and everything. Where you think about facilities, think about resources, everything's here. It's almost where you feel like you're just gonna go in and push a button, and it will just roll, and it'll continue to roll. And it didn't happen. And the reason why it's all about you as a coach, you still have to build trust because players really don't know who you are the first time they see you, and things are different. But what's unbelievable is I followed an icon in Coach Brown, and so what you want to see happen is I continue to build on that, and I didn't get that done last season. So now being into the program year 2, the players know exactly who I am. They know what they expect, and I know what they expect from me. They know exactly who they are.
Charlie, can you go over some housekeeping items? Cameron Hughes, what's his status? Now Terrell Cooney, now what's his status? And some of the freshmen that didn't come in with Ronnie Major and Clarington, what are those guys up to?
Well, Cameron Hughes is no longer here. The Cooney situation, we're going to get cleared up. Ronnie Major still has some work to do. Clarington still has some work to do. And so those two guys, we expect to be here at any time. They just still have some work they have to get done.
Those last two, it's just a matter of the NCAA.
Right. So we're just waiting for the NCAA to get them cleared, and then once they get cleared, then we'll know exactly where we are, where we stand.
Go on the right, Alex.
What's up, Coach?
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Did you have a good summer?
I had a great summer. What about yourself?
I went on a vacation to the beach.
Which beach you go to, Alex?
Gulf Shores.
Gulf Shore?
Yeah.
A lot of people was there, wasn't
Yeah, tons of
there?
them.
Yeah, it's crowded, yes.
So you talked about you challenged some of these players coming back this year. Which players did you challenge that that they need to get better, that you're most excited about seeing how they're gonna react to that kind of challenge as far as veteran guys?
What had happened, Alex, is that it was probably, probably 3 weeks ago. We sat down with a number of players and just don't know exactly the number, but it was quite a few, mainly the ones that played a lot. And so the challenge to them was that I know that we're a better football team than what we showed, and it's all about us continuing to work. But at some point with the players that were challenged, it's time. And I said to them, it's time for you to step out. And I said, I just feel like, I know you're not afraid, and it's just something that is you're holding inside of you. And don't just, you got to let it out. And that's why I was talking about, like, we're all bunched up. And everyone's just sitting there. And it's really good when you stay bunched up, because now that you don't have to worry about saying, well, look how hard he's working. Well, why are you trying to outwork us? And don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that guy who's willing to step out and become the leader and step out and say, hey, you know what, I'm tired of what's happening right now. So let's go get this program back and get it back where it should be.
Yeah, I had a good vacation too, if you're curious. Where do you feel like the positive buzz is about this team? And with the loss of all your defensive playmakers, your two best receivers and running back, is there a chance the team could be worse this year just because of rebuilding?
Oh, I don't know about that last one, Kurt. But if you look at this team, and you always go into it, and you're looking to always build a team. And with Jay Gray and with Doyle and with Duke, and I sat down with those guys and I told them, I said that this team is going to go as far as you go. And what I mean as far as you go in the way you work and how you carry yourself. So if they see you working, then they're going to work just as hard. And I said, you have an eager group of freshmen who are going to do anything you ask them to do. They don't know any better. If you just go hard, then they're going to go hard. And I think those results are beginning to show just how listen to Coach Moore talk and how they're just working and through the summer conditioning. And you're right, we lose a lot on defense, because when you think about it, you lose Malcolm, you lose a first-round pick, you lose Ced Reed, who played a lot of football. Edmonds played a lot. You look in the secondary, and you lose those guys in the back end. So you lose some really key players. And so now, can we on defense play with enough effort and enough passion where a lot of times you miss players, but will you play hard enough where you can overcome those losses? And will we be able to overcome those losses? and we'll be strong enough. You look at us at the wide receiver position, you know, and I think about a year ago, we weren't even talking about John Harrison. Look at the year he had. So is there someone else that's going to step up like him? You have two guys sitting there with Dejae and with Marcus, who is as talented and probably more talented than what John was. So can they step up and become that guy?
Right next to him, Ryan.
Charlie, is Gilbert Johnson lumped in with Major and Clarington? And then secondly, Matthew Merrick, is he now part of the freshman class, or is he in camp?
Gilbert is not lumped in. He's going to go elsewhere, but Merrick is here, and Merrick came in with the
And
freshman class.
what went into that decision to bring Merrick in now as opposed to gray shirting, which you guys had planned?
Because we had scholarships available, so we brought him in.
Go to Chip on the right.
Charlie, I think, I guess Red McComb said that you're probably going to play more freshmen than you've ever played. Does that excite you, scare you? What is it about this group in that 15 class that, makes you think that's a good thing?
You know, the only guys that make a decision where the freshmen play will be the upperclassmen. And they've been here. They know what is already expected. So when you look at that freshman class, it's a very talented group. Just don't know exactly how many we're going to play or who's going to play. But, you're really excited about what you have. But I always tell the upperclassmen, if a freshman come in and play, you have made that decision because you didn't work hard enough and you know what is expected of you. All of you are talented enough. Now it's time for the guys within the program to step up. And if a freshman plays, then it's going to be because we didn't get it done with the upperclassmen.
Is there an attitude about this group, though, that you like, the freshman class, this 15 class?
Oh, they feel very good about themselves, and they do that now, and they don't mind expressing it either. But I think sometimes you need that, and then once they get out there and go to work, then a lot of it will change because they don't really know what is expected. But once they get out there tomorrow, then we'll see probably, day 5 or 6, we'll see exactly how they really filled in.
Stay on the far right hand bar.
So, Coach, can you just talk about Tyrone and Gerard individually and just kind of express what each guy kind of needs to do to win you over, to win this job, to win your confidence?
When you talk about that quarterback position, they have to win the team. And which one of those guys win the team will end up being the quarterback. And because, what it is, when you talk about winning the team has to feel comfortable and the team had to realize that, we can go win with that quarterback and he's going to go play hard for us and he's going to do those things. And the way that both of those guys are working right now, then you can see that happening because even, and I'm not going to, I don't know who's going to start, but both of them will play in the Notre Dame game. And Tyrone has been there. He's seen it. He's been a part of it. With Gerard, it's going to be about just game experience. And it's just him just getting it in practice. And that's what's really great about practice. You get to every day you get to practice those situations, you put them in those situations, and then you just see exactly how they compete, and just you see that competitive edge about them. But it's fun to have it because now you're not walking into it. A year ago we walked into it with just Ash being the guy and said David's going to go lead us, and then he goes down with injury. Now Tyrone's got to come in, so now you're sitting there with 2 quarterbacks, and now you throw Loxley in the mix, and we'll have a chance to see what he can do.
Back on the left, Chuck.
Charlie, you talked about Connor Williams on the offensive line, referenced him. Any hesitation about putting a true freshman into the mix this early in his career, especially somebody who came in the spring?
No, Connor did a great job in the spring, and he actually earned that position in the spring and has worked. And the thing you like about Connor, he says nothing. And it's just all about work with him, just goes to work and just like his whole attitude about it. But no, not afraid at all of playing a freshman. Because, if you look across the country, freshmen are going to start, and so it doesn't bother me at all.
Back on the right, Steve.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Steve.
Coaches have to manage, especially this part of the season, better than anything, segmenting the season, the preseason, the first 3 games. How are you guys handling that, and how do you expect the players to handle that, Coach?
Well, you think about it and you look at our schedule, it's a very challenging schedule. And you're right, you like to break it down because you take your schedule and you break it down. But with Notre Dame being the first game, it's almost like you say, well, we like to go take those first 3. But that's such a critical game for us. And I told our coaches that, hey, let's concentrate on Notre Dame right now. And we don't need to go play them tomorrow. We need to get our team developed. But once we start for preparation, it's going to be it's about Notre Dame, and then we'll break down the rest of the breakdown. When you go Rice and Cal and Oklahoma State being our first conference game. But that game is such a critical game, and it's such a big game early. And just because of the way we ended last season, we need to come out and we need to play well in that game.
Back on the left, Brian.
Charlie, have you ever had a team like this that was sort of devoid of real stars and that had such a kind of a big leadership void like this seems to?
Yeah, at some point in my career I've had, Brandon, just don't remember when, but still though, when you have a team like this and it's guys that can be stars, because you look at Jay Gray just when he came out of high school where he was and where he is now, but that can happen. It's just up to us as a coaching staff that we have to be the leaders right now, and it is so critical that we develop leadership at each position. Where now, all of a sudden, when you develop that leadership, you have a guy who can step out and become that guy for you. But as a coach, you have to do that right now, and that's what's critical. And that's why through this preseason camp that we had to build that, and the team, and once that's built, then the team they figure it out. They start seeing who are the guys and who they can really trust, and once they speak, that they're really going to listen to them and their voice can carry for them.
Right, second row, Williams.
Hey, Charlie, what can you tell us about that Aussie punter, Michael Dixon? Is he on campus, and what are you expecting from him this season?
I snuck that one in there on you, huh? I didn't know about the Aussie. Ryan, what happened? No, he's here, and he actually just got here probably a week, probably on Monday. But we signed a punter. We needed a punter, and so once we had a chance, we just saw him on tape. So once we get out there tomorrow, have a chance to really watch him and see what he's about.
What kind of leg does he have?
Has a really strong leg. Has a really good leg, and he's one. And he's another one. He tells, "Hey, coach, I can put it anywhere you want me to put it." So I said, "Well, we directional kick a lot." And he said, "Well, I'd put it where you asked me to."
Back on the left, Bob.
Coach, you obviously since you signed Malik and got him here, and there's been a lot of expectation put on him. What gives you the confidence that he's the guy that can really lead from this freshman class?
No, Bob, I had a conversation with Malik just the other day, and I told him, I said, listen, there's going to be a lot of expectations placed on you, high expectations. Just be yourself. And I said, I don't need you to do more than what you can do. Just be yourself. We're going to coach you up, and just don't worry, because I said that, everybody's thinking, hey, Malik's got to be the guy, he's got to be the guy. And he don't mind doing that. But at some point, let's let him grow and develop and coach him up and let him grow within the system. And he can do that. But, with him coming in the spring, he's a head start. And it's amazing because some of the freshmen don't think he's a freshman. They think he's an upper. No, he's a freshman like you are. But because he got here in January, they're thinking he's a year ahead of them. No, he isn't. He only got here in January. But I just like his overall attitude and just the type of person he is, so willing to learn, and is one of those guys who's going to ask you questions and want to do it the right way. I mean, it is, how some guys, they put pressure on themselves, and that's what I don't want to see happen to him, because he'll put so much pressure on themselves to always make sure that he's got to be right. No, you're not always going to be right. We do make mistakes, so let's grow within the system, and it'll happen for you.
On the left, Jeff.
Charlie, what are your expectations for this tight end group? And while he might not be with that position, how might DeAndre McNeil factor into just the different ways you might use him in terms of being productive there?
Well, if you look at it, when you talk about DeAndre, he's going to be one of those guys, because I told him, he came in and I said, let me tell you right now, you're not going to stop growing. You may outgrow that wide receiver position, but he's a guy that we can move around and just place him wherever we need to place him, because he's got so much athletic ability. And he don't mind it, though. And that's the thing. A lot of times when you have a wide receiver and you ask him to move, a lot of them, they'll fight you on it. No, I don't want to move. No, coach, you told me I was going to play wide receiver. And then they'll kind of sit there, and then they realize, hey, the best position for you is moving, but he doesn't mind it at all. but he's been good about it. And then just with the tight end position, when we're moving guys around, we just got to make sure that they're going to be a big part of our offense, and then we got to make sure that happens.
On the right, Roger.
Charlie, if I could get two quick ones in, is there anything more you can add about the Cooney situation? Is he going to be on the practice field and his status? And second, what do you want to see from your guys now that you know them and they know you in practice? It's maybe not just about X's and O's and doing the right thing at that time, but more kind of their attitude.
Yeah, when we walk out there, Cooney will be there, but he's got some things he has to get done. And when you talk about just what I'm looking for at practice, I'm just looking for guys with effort and guys just go hard. And it's not, you know what happens is that now that they know what is expected, then I think the practice will flow a lot better because now that they've been into it a year. I think like last year they just weren't into the type of practices we were looking for, but now they will be. And not that they're different than anywhere else. Football is football, practice is practice. But now just asking them to do the things that we ask them to do. But you're just always looking to build and just looking to improve. And it has to be about fundamentals. And that's what's key is we had to develop fundamentals. And that's where we weren't. We weren't a good fundamental football team last year. If you just look at just some of the things, just keeping your outside arm clean, though, and just how way you catch the ball, the way just on defense, how to play defense, how to get down in a football position. Some of those things we didn't do. And it showed. And a part of not finishing games is a breakdown in fundamentals. And you look at the games that we did not finish, and now they're just fundamentally how we just broke down. And it showed. And against a really good football team, they're very visible.
Back on the left, Max.
Charlie, it seems like with very few exceptions, every job's pretty much open on this roster. Is that the kind of competition that you're really going to be stressing in August?
Well, you look at it, and when you come into camp, when we jump out there with a first team's got to jump out there. So then you just continue to just build a competition and watch it happen because you look at the offensive line because you started those guys with Doyle, with Said, with Perk, with Hutch, and now with Connor Williams. Now you got some guys who you can battle. You got a Vahi who can battle in there now, but you have some bodies that you can battle with. You look at the linebacker position when you talk about Santos, Tim Cole, and Pete, but there's Malik standing right there. There's Wheeler standing there. You got Townsend standing there. You have some guys that are standing there and guys that have played and very athletic. You look at the corner position when you talk about Boyd, you talk about Holden Hill, you talk about Davis. I mean, there's three guys that are going to battle for that corner position that they're very talented. And so now, you got a Bonnie who didn't play last season. Now he's coming along. But it's great to have that competition, the quarterback position. It'd be very competitive. But that's what you want to see happen because what happens, guys don't sense that that's my position, and now you had to continue to work, and it's only going to make you better, and it makes the whole football team better.
Hey, Coach, just one quick thing and then another question, but you keep mentioning Santos. If you could tell us where you think he is. And secondly, it seems like Roberson, I guess he's healthy. It seems like he's gotten a lot bigger, maybe almost to the size of like Bryce Cottrell, who's playing on the strong side. Do you guys see Roberson as a Fox candidate only, or do you see him as somebody who could possibly play on the strong side?
Well, when you look at Roberson, he can play both sides, and it's all about just his athletic ability. He's big enough where he can play to the strong side, and then if you need him to drop to the backside, he can do those things. And what was your first question?
About Santos.
Oh, Santos, right. Yes, Santos is he's going to come out. Now, he's not going to be at 100% here the first 5 or 6 days, but he's going to get better and better. And then we're just going to watch him. Some drills he's going to be able to do, some he's not.
Stay right there, Dennis.
Coach, at Big 12, Duke was saying that we've always had dogs on this team, but now we're ready to fight. Do you sense that kind of spirit around, whatever you've caught up from Coach Moore? Also, are you guys going to camp with the players like you did last year?
With Duke, and a lot of them are sensing it, is they just want to get it back, and they want to get it back to where it was, and the thing about it, we can get it back there. We just got to make a decision. As players, we have to grow into it and say, hey, this is really what we want to do, and we have to work to make that happen. It's not just going to happen where you just walk into it and then all of a sudden, you just start saying, hey, I'm gonna do these things. No, it's all about work. We're gonna camp. Yes, we will camp with the players again, and it's gonna be fun. And the coaches, the coaches don't like it that much, but it'll be a good change up for them too. But no, it's just good being around them and sitting over at night and just listening to some of them talk and just hear some of the stories. And so now it's going to be a lot easier because you kind of have a feel for the guys.
Go further right.
Coach, back to your QB, the QB for a second. When you say both guys are going to play against Notre Dame, how do you work out that rotation? Will you do one series on, one series off, go with the hot hand? How do you plan to figure that out?
Well, we don't really. We know they're both going to play. And I'm not going to play musical chairs with them where if a guy's playing bad, all of a sudden you just pull him. But I just want to make sure that if a guy works, he understands that that he will be rewarded for his hard work. So whichever one, they're both going to go in the game and go play. And because there's two different players. Because you look at Tyrone, just a bigger, stronger, physical guy. And then you look at my man Hurd when he comes in, a lot of athletic ability to him, can release the football, but he's good enough where he can beat you with his feet. So it'll be exciting to watch.
Hey, Coach. A quick question. When you're talking about how the upperclassmen are basically the ones who can lose their job, they're the ones who decide whether or not the underclassmen play. Are you getting that sense of urgency from them this summer?
Well, a lot of them, you are getting a sense of urgency, and they're realizing it. Because one thing about players know players. And when they see those freshmen come in, you can tell those upperclassmen see which one. Because they've been doing like 7-on-7 on their own, and they've been doing a lot of team situations on their own. So they know who the guys are. Because you can ask some of the players, hey, what about well, this guy looks good, this guy looks good. And they all see it. So they all see it. Then they know who are the competitive guys and guys that can come and take their position. Or just go compete for a position.
Come back to the left, Kurt.
Charlie, how would you rate your overall team speed on both sides of the ball, and do you have a lot of difference makers, do you feel like?
We for the first time, and I don't know the times now, but for the first time we did time them last week, and we ran pretty well. And we have some guys that can run. And the thing I like about that, so when we're watching tape now, I'm going to say, now wait a minute. Is this the time? So you're playing at this time. So you tell me this. I said, now this is your time. Is this not right? But you're not playing at it. So why aren't you playing at that? So now we have a gauge. Because I said to Coach Moore, I said I want to see. Let's run 40s. I want to see what these guys really run. Because they talk about it a lot, and there's always a lot of chatter. So now we had that opportunity at the time, and it was. We have some team speed now. We can run. We can do that. Now, if we're going to run it, I don't know if we're going to run in the right direction, but we can run.
Stay on the left. Chuck.
Charlie, besides the usual basics that all football coaches talk about, what has to go right for this group to have the kind of season that you want it to have?
We had to play together as a team, Chuck, and then offensively, you have to score, and you had to create scores, and you have to have big plays, and you had to move the ball down the field. Because if you watch, what's hard is you need to score on offense. Because if you're playing a good defense, and even though your whole team, you're not matching scores, then you're in trouble. So offensively, we need to move the football, we need to score, and then on defense, we got to prevent the big plays, and we can't give up the big plays. We're not a good enough football team where we can give up a big play and come back and then all of a sudden go match that score. We can't do it. If teams are going to score on us, make them take the ball and just grind it out and make them just use up clock, either use clock or take a number of plays to go score with it. And we got to be better in the kicking game. Last year we weren't very good in the kicking game. We got to be more consistent. You look at, and I told my man Rose, he want to go out there and kick those 60, 70 yarders. He better not miss from 40. That's where the points are. The points are. I said, hey, listen, the points are in the 40-yard range. I don't need to see you go kick those 60s and whatever 70s because that's never going to happen. I'm not going to give you that opportunity to do that. But it's all about just being a consistent football team. But on all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and in the kicking game.
All right, Mike.
Charlie, I know both quarterbacks are playing at Notre Dame, but can one of those guys blow you away this next month and kind of win the #1 job, or do you anticipate kind of basing it all on how they play up there at South Bend?
No, if they can do it during camp, then that can happen. And they could, you know, and at the end of camp, Mike, it'll be a guy who will be the clear-cut one. That's going to happen. But the reason why I'm saying I like to see both of them play is that I want to give the other one an opportunity to go play because he deserves it because of the way he worked and he's taken it and he's pushed. And if you look at it, you know, even Notre Dame before they lost Golson, they were playing just him and Zaire, so they was playing two quarterbacks. So it's not unusual for that to happen. And
Have a clear-cut number one guy before Notre Dame?
well, I think for sure to be a clear-cut number one guy before Notre Dame. That's going to happen here because it's so both those guys are so competitive right now that it's going to happen because they're going to push and then one guy's going to end up taking over and becoming the guy.
All right, Chip on the right.
Charlie, do you have any guys who are banged up who will not start camp? And then what was the mandate, or what are you expecting this offense to look like when you hit the field?
The one guy that will not be in camp is really two, is Jermaine Roberts and Sherrod. Those are the two guys that will not be in camp when we start camp. But everyone else, you know, we may have a bump or a bruise, but it's nothing that is keeping them from practicing. They'll be limited, but, you know, like Santos will be limited. But they'll be able to go. You know, we got to watch Tank because of what happened, but we just got to make sure that he's healthy. But we just got to watch him and just watch the number of reps. You know, but those are two guys. Whiteley's got a shoulder, but it's nothing that's going to keep him from going through camp. But other than that, the two that will not be is Jermaine and Sherrod. But you know, offensively, I want to just see a team that could create scores. I want to see a big play team. We have, like I said, I just keep going back. You know, DeJay needs to come alive. Marcus needs to come alive. There's two guys that can run. Petey's another one. Then you have Jay Gray in the backfield. Make sure we can protect the quarterback and let the quarterbacks deliver and see if they can go run the offense. But it's going to be critical. Now I keep saying it. They got the quarterback position's got to win. And they have to win the team.
All right, last one on the right, Dan.
Yeah, Charlie, the last 15 coaches who've won national titles won 9 games by their second year. So with that in mind, how are you going to judge this team and sort of your progress with this program, you know, vis-a-vis the ultimate goal you're trying to get to? Because you maybe started from a little different place than some of those coaches.
Well, I don't worry about that. I just I just got to make sure I just continue to get my team better, and we need to improve from year 1 to year 2.
All right, thanks, folks.
All right, thank you. Thank you.